Regular City Council meeting of Monday, January 10th, 2022. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Holly, will you call the roll, please?
Bellinger.
Here.
Siebel.
Here.
Rhines.
Here.
Gilroy.
Here.
Hanson.
Here.
Lanyon.
Present.
Pratt.
Here.
All right. I'm looking for approval of this evening's agenda if there are no changes that need to be requested.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as submitted.
Thank you. Do I have support? Thank you. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have audience participation with a maximum of 5 minutes per presentation. If there's anybody that would like to come up and speak, I'm not seeing anybody, so we'll continue on. Right, he waved me off. We have our council meeting minutes of December 13th, 2021. I'm looking for approval of those unless there's changes that need to be made.
Move to approve the minutes.
All right, thank you. Do I have support?
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Noah, you have accounts payable for this evening.
Yes, I did. And I did send out an email to Rachel, and I think everybody else was tagged as well. But we can discuss those as we go. What I'd like to do is make a motion to approve. Did you have to say something?
Or your papers, I'll copy your mic.
Oh, there you go. I'm making noise.
Oh, right, sorry. Thank you. And then I would like to make a motion then to approve check 75037 dated 12/10 through check 75104 dated 12/23 and ACH 182 through 192 with a total of $487,720.07.
Great, thank you so much, Noah.
Then Rachel, can you
Yes.
respond to those three questions I sent out?
So there was a question on, I think the first one was check number 75038 for capital barricading, DDA parking lot signage in the amount of $1,275.75. That is a DDA expense. It comes right out of the DDA fund. So they paid for that. And then ACH number 185A at the very bottom of that page, CDW government, PD supplies for $2349.16. That is for the Panasonic Toughbooks computer 2021 for the police department. It was on back order due to the chip shortage, and they finally got that in, and we paid for that.
Great.
And I questioned that because it just had a long number, but didn't say what it was.
Okay.
On the receiving part, so I couldn't
Okay.
figure. And I saw the serial number, but what kind of gun is this?
And then I think the last check was check number 75089 on page 3 of payables for index distribution for wastewater treatment plant lab coliform test machine in the amount of $4,033.47. And then there's some shipping on that as well. And the question on that was it a budgeted item? And Scott had provided an email that basically over the last 3 years, they've been planning some of these equipment replacements, small ticket items that we can't capitalize because it's under $5,000, but a significant amount of money when it adds up. So we've been budgeting for these items over the last 3 years, and this is one of the ones that they needed to replace. So it is budgeted, and so we've been able to purchase that.
Great.
Thank you for the clarification.
No problem.
Thank you, Rachel. Does anybody have any other questions regarding payables? If not, I'm looking for support for Noah's motion. Thank you. Holly, will you call the roll, please, for accounts payable?
Gilroy.
Yes.
Lanyon.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Pratt.
Yes.
Bellinger.
Yes.
Siebel.
Yes.
Rhines.
Yes.
Great. And now I'd like to go ahead and call to order the public hearing of the Downtown Development Authority Plan Amendment at 7:04. So we have our plan amendment notice here. Does anybody have any questions regarding this? No? All right. if there are no questions, then I will go ahead and close the public hearing at 7:04. Moving along, we have a School of Choice Week proclamation that our council has signed, and it is a certificate of recognition for the City of Williamston School of Choice Week, which occurs between the week of January 23rd and 29th, 2022. Our city council is in support of School of Choice, and this recognition will be presented to the Williamston School District. Moving on, we have our action items. Starting out, it would be appointment of council members to boards and commissions and committees. And I have reached out to the board members and asked them to participate on the board. So I will go ahead and read these, and then I'll ask for a motion for the city council appointments. For the 2022 city council appointments for EDC and TIPA, I've asked Councilman Chuck Seabolt to be the representative with Brandon Lanyon as alternate. For the DDA, it would be myself as representative with Councilman Bellinger as my alternate. For Planning Commission, Councilman Lanyon. And Noah, do you want to stay on as alternate? Okay, all right. And then Chuck, if you would like to attend those as well, so you can kind of start, because down on the bottom, we've got you as zoning board of appeals, so that might not be a bad idea as an alternate. So continuing on, cemetery board, I've got Councilman Bellinger as representative, and Terry, I'd like to have you as alternate for when Noah cannot attend. For NISA, we have Councilman Pratt and then Councilman Bellinger as alternate. For Parks and Recreation, Terry, I'd like to go ahead and assign that to you as your board, with Councilman Pratt as alternate. Accounts Payable Review, that will be Councilman Bellinger, and then Councilman Rhines will be the alternate. For Zoning Board of Appeals, that will be Councilman Rhines with Councilman Seabolt as alternate. And we have a new ad hoc committee, which would be the Zoning, Language, and Code Enforcement. I've asked Councilman Lanyon and Councilman Seabolt to participate. Is there anyone else that would like to participate on that? It meets as needed, and the ad hoc committee, if my memory serves me correctly, because we have not had one in a while, they meet for approximately 2 years, come back with results.
They're authorized for up to 2 years.
Up to 2 years. So would any other council member like to participate on that?
I'll participate.
Okay, thank you, Tommy. All right, so that will be Councilman Lanyon, Councilman Seabolt, and Councilman Pratt. At this time, I think we are comfortable with tabling the Fire Code Ad Hoc Committee. But if a council member feels that we need to bring that back, once we get our city manager in place, we can discuss that during our goal setting meeting. So with that being said, I'm looking for a motion to move those appointments forward for our boards for this year.
So moved.
Thank you very much. Do I have support?
Second.
Thank you very much. If there's no discussion, Holly, will you call the roll, please?
Hanson,
Yes.
Pratt,
Yes.
Bellinger,
Yes.
Seabolt,
Yes.
Rhines,
Yes.
Gilroy,
Yes.
Lanyon.
Yes.
And just as these meetings come up, the meeting schedule is on the side. If you cannot make a meeting, please get a hold of your alternate with enough notice so that the alternate can plan on attending. And then, as we have always done throughout the year, we will have our committee, subcommittee reports at each council meeting. So if your board does meet, and you can present an overview of what occurred during the meeting, that would be fantastic. Our next action item is our city manager contract. Rachel was able to let us know that Mr. Hannafin has accepted our offer to come aboard as city manager. We have his contract here in the packet. Rachel, I'll go ahead and turn this over to you real quick, if there's anything you'd like to add.
He was really great to work with. I'm really excited for him to start. I think he's gonna be a really good fit here. I know he had some back and forth a little bit, a few questions, but it was a really simple, easy negotiation, and I think he's really excited to start.
Great.
So, I think it'll be a really good move for the city.
Yes, no, actually February 14th, and that will be our first council meeting of the year. Remember I said I'm super excited to spend Valentine's Day with you all.
Oh.
So, so that's exciting that he'll be starting on a council day, just like Corey did 3 years ago. Does anybody have any questions regarding this contract that we have in front of us? If you've had an opportunity to read through it, I think that Matt Nordford and Rachel did a great job with putting this together for John, and it looks like he was amenable to everything, and so. Great, all right. Well, with that being said then, I am looking for a motion to move this forward for us to be able to accept this contract.
I'll make a motion to approve the contract for employment services as Williamston City Manager between the City of Williamston and Don Hanson.
Thank you very
Second.
much. Thank you very much. If there's no further discussion, Holly, can you call the roll, please?
Pratt,
Yes.
Bellinger,
Yes.
Siebel,
Yes.
Rhines,
Yes.
Gilroy,
Yes.
Lanian,
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
And I just wanted to say, and I know we have one more meeting before he comes on board, but I'm just so impressed with our city staff and how you guys have navigated through this again. And, you know, we've got at least about another month and a half before he comes on board, but I know you guys are gonna do just a great job. So thank you so much. Our next action item, which is the second reading digital message board signs text amendments. I don't believe there's been any changes to this since our first reading, so I'm looking for a motion for this action.
I make a motion to approve the second reading, the adoption of an ordinance to amend the City of Williamston zoning ordinance to revise Article 8 of sign regulation.
Thank you, Terry. Do I have support?
Support.
Thank you, Chuck. If there's no other questions or discussion, Holly, will you call the roll, please?
Bellinger,
Yes.
Siebel,
Yes.
Rhines,
Yes.
Gilroy,
Yes.
Lanian,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Pratt.
Yes.
Great, thank you. We have
I
appoint.
have one question.
Oh, yes, go ahead.
If that's it.
Yes.
It says that it's effective 7 days after its adoption. Is this the adoption right now? Is there any process beyond that?
Publication.
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 Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, thank you.
We have appointment of Madison DeRocha to the Downtown Development Authority for a term to expire 6/30/2025, and it looks like she is with Hayward Pixley Insurance right on the four corners. So I'm looking for a motion for her appointment.
I'll make a motion to appoint Madison Drosha to the Downtown Development Authority for a term to expire 6/30/25.
Thank you very much. Do I have support?
Support.
Thank you. Holly, will you call the roll?
Siebel,
Yes.
Rhines,
Yes.
Gilroy,
Yes.
Lanian,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Pratt,
Yes.
Bellinger.
Yes.
Great. Our next action item is our first reading of the Downtown Development Authority Plan Amendment Ordinance. And Rachel, you gave us a memo, so I'll go ahead and turn this over to you.
Sure, everything's pretty much right there in the memo. As you guys are well aware, the Hingham County Board of Commissioners approved our request for more funding for this project. And so the DDA then in turn has to amend their plan in order to reflect the true cost, or the grant dollars that we're receiving. And so that's what the plan amendment entails tonight. This will be the first reading if it's adopted, and then we'll go through a second reading at the next meeting in January.
Great, thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Rachel? Go ahead, Dan.
I know this is just a plan amendment, but with all this going forward and us getting the extra money from Hingham County Parks and Trails, is this project slated to go ahead in the spring, do we think, if this all goes through, or?
So the DDA board also adopted a contract amendment with Landscape Architect Planners. They're basically their engineer on the project, and they had made some amendments to the bid documents. We had a contractor that we already have a relationship with, didn't bid the project, and Corey and Scott were able to actually sit down with them and say, why didn't you bid that project since you're already here in town? And he said, well, I didn't know what this meant, and I didn't know what this meant, and I wasn't sure on this. And so we were able to take that and make it a little clearer, so that we can get potentially more bids and maybe be a little bit more competitive. And so LAP is working on those bid document revisions right now, and they're hoping to bid out yet this winter. It's a little bit tricky as to when the timeline will be, because the river has to be just right in order to do the excavating required. And so it's gonna kind of be weather dependent, depends on if we have a wet or dry spring. But we certainly are hoping to accomplish this season sometime in 2022.
Thank you, Rachel.
Right. And just for clarification for our viewers out there, this is for the kayak launch and parking site project where the old car wash used to be on Grand River heading west out of town, which is a part of our DDA district. Great question, thank you so much, Dan. Do we have any other questions? All right, I'm looking for that motion.
I'll make a motion to approve first reading of an ordinance to confirm the adoption of the City of Williamston Downtown Development Authority's 11th amended development plan and tax increment financing plan amendment.
Thank you very much, Chuck. Do I have support?
Second.
Thank you both. If there's no further discussion, Holly, will you call the roll?
Rhines,
Yes.
Gilroy,
Yes.
Langen,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Pratt,
Yes.
Bellinger,
Yes.
Seabolt,
Yes.
All right, thank you. Our next action item is our tentative collective bargaining agreement. Rachel has put in a memo here. We have a copy of the agreement. So I'm gonna turn this over to Rachel.
All right, we're very excited to present a tentative agreement with the Capital City Labor Program, which represent our police department employees. Want to thank Matt Northford, he's amazing. He really knows what he's doing at the negotiations, and he's really wonderful to work with. Makes my job easy. This was my first contract negotiation, so I really appreciate Matt's help on that. Chief did an amazing job as well. It's a great group of employees we have, and I think that the city's continued support for our employees and doing right by our staff really shows in those relationships that we have with our union employees, because it's not contentious. It's, well, let's work through this. And so I really appreciate your support in that, and your continued support in supporting our employees. And it makes whoever's sitting on this side of the table, it makes their job so much easier. So what is in front of you is laid out. We were able to negotiate a 3-year agreement, which we talked about, and everything that we came up with is within the parameters that have been set forth. And
Great.
so I think we're really excited to present this to you and
Great.
answer any questions you might have.
Great. So I will open it up for questions. Does anybody have any questions for Rachel?
Quick one on
Yes, Terry.
2024 is highlighted in green, does that mean something?
So that was a change, basically, that's a change between what the employer proposal package was and what the union proposed. And so that's why what the colors are for. It's more of an attorney thing, I think, for him to go in and change things.
Right.
I don't think it's necessarily significant for us.
Okay, excellent. Anybody else have questions? All right, I'm looking for a motion then to move this contract forward.
I'll make a motion to ratify the tentative collective bargaining agreement between the City of Williamston, the Capital City Labor Program, Inc., and authorize the mayor to sign the contract upon the approval as to be formed by Labor Council.
Thank you so much, Tom. Do I have support? Great, thank you both. If there's no further discussion, Holly, will you call the roll, please?
Gilroy,
Yes.
Langen,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Pratt,
Yes.
Bellinger,
Yes.
Seabolt,
Yes.
Rhines,
Yes.
All right, our final action item of the evening is our auditing services agreement, and it looks like we're going to move forward with Roseland Prestige and Company. So Rachel, turn this over to you.
Sure. As I described in the memo, we went through a pretty extensive process about 5 years ago to try to find a new firm, or at least go out for bids for a new firm. We've been very satisfied with Roseland Prestige and Company. They've They're really great to work with. They're very thorough. They challenge us on things, which we really like because we want to make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing as well. And so they've been great to work with. I emailed their representative and said, we'd like to just continue on with you guys. Can you send me a price list? So he did, and I found it very ironic that what he sent me was, you know, their highest year is what the next lowest bid was 5 years ago to them. And so for me, it's like, that's kind of a no-brainer for me. Why go out to bid for something, a service that we're receiving good service, we're happy with it. They're very professional, very thorough, and we're saving money in the process.
Right.
So I thought it was a good
And
fit.
they are. They're so thorough when they come in and present their audit. I have enjoyed, you know, working with them, and they're just very good at what they do. Does anybody have any questions for Rachel? No? All right, I'm looking for a motion then for this audit servicing agreement.
I'll make a motion to approve the auditing service agreement with Roseland Prestige and Company PC for fiscal years ending June 30th, 2022, 2023, and 2024 with 2 one-year options to extend.
Great, thank you, Brandon. Do I have support?
Support.
Thank you both. If there's no questions or further discussion,
I do have one
Yes.
question for Rachel. And at the end of the 2 years, because that's one of the contract, is there a process to do the accepting the third option year? Because
It-
normally when I have contracts, that option year, there has to be something in writing to say, yes, go ahead and do it.
So we do an engagement letter every year with them. Usually when they start scheduling, they will contact me and we have an engagement letter that we proceed with on that.
great,
Yeah.
great question, thank you.
Yeah, that engagement letter is added as a new exhibit B every year.
Thank you.
Excellent. Okay, if there's no other further questions, I will go ahead and ask Holly for the roll, please.
Rhines,
Yes.
Gilroy,
Yes.
Lanyon,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Kraft,
Yes.
Bellinger,
Yes.
Siebel,
Yes.
All right, thank you. That concludes our action items for this evening. We do not have any discussion items. We did receive the MMTA, which is the Michigan Municipal Treasurers Association. And so, again, Rachel, thank you so much for serving on their board. And we just appreciate your involvement in that because we know that you get good information from your board as well as Holly getting information from her board with the Michigan Association of Clerks. So you guys just do such a great job, and I'm so glad that you're involved because you bring all that good information back. And you have, you know, peers that you can reach out to and everything, so thanks so much. I will move right along to our department head reports. And so, Rachel, you did have a memo in here for us, so I'm just gonna turn it over to you.
Sure.
And
I did have one additional thing to add that I meant to say earlier, that John Hannafin is planning on attending the next city council meeting. Not up there yet, but just to kind of familiarize himself with the happenings, and
Right.
then the next meeting will be his first day on the job. So
Excellent.
I'm really excited that he wants to jump right in and figure out what's going on.
That's great. Excellent. Well, we look forward to having him in the gallery at our next January meeting, and then, of course, welcoming him in February. Did anybody have any questions for Rachel regarding her report? No? All right, we'll move right along to Chief.
Good evening, and
Hello.
and thank you. Just a couple things from the department. Our newest officer, Aaron Clapp, is doing a great job. He's moving along through his FDO training very quickly, and Detective Pintar
Yes.
is challenging him right along and holding his feet to the fire. And that was my second point I wanted to make, and thank Rachel for what a great job her and Matt did do, and it does make it so easy. This is my first union contract negotiations here, but not from my prior life. And it does make it go so smooth and so easy. And working with Matt and Rachel, we were able to get in and create the new detective position, which is kind of twofold, which Officer Detective Pintar is doing right now. He's still doing his patrol work, but he's also taking extra responsibilities, getting additional training to help him take these which would be more challenging, difficult investigations to a successful conclusion.
Mhm.
So he's just doing a phenomenal job with that, which those side of things were never my expertise in my other life. I was in a different field as that, but it's coming along. I'm pleased. I'm pleased to say the way it's moving along, and it's really going good. So
Excellent.
we are doing good over there, having fun, and things are nice and peaceful and quiet in the
Well,
city.
good, it's cold out, so you know, that's helping, but
So,
it's exciting to have this additional role within our PD, because we've not had that before. We've had to rely on others for investigative process and everything, so I'm super thrilled. I'm very happy, and, you know, I think it's a real asset to the program that we have over there. So just keep up the good work. This is great.
Thank you.
Rachel, treasurer.
Let me put on my other hat.
Right.
Hands up.
Right.
Just the financials are there for you. I don't know that there's really anything alarming or out of line.
Right.
Everything's tracking where it should be. I mentioned in there the legislature adopted that or expanded the small business tax exemption, and so that will impact our bottom line. But hopefully we have enough time to kind of prepare, because it won't take effect until the 2023 tax year. So we have a little bit of time to adjust and figure out how we're gonna move forward with that.
Excellent, excellent, great, thank you so much. If you ever have questions regarding financials, please don't hesitate to reach out to Rachel. She's amazing at what she does, and she watches every single penny for the city and does it very well. So please don't hesitate. And of course, right around the corner is going to be budget, so, you know, we might as well start getting prepared right now.
I sent out those spreadsheets today to department heads,
Yep.
so we're
Excellent.
moving
Excellent.
along on that, and
Seems like just when we finalize one and approve one, it's
Yep.
ready to work on the next, so.
we're already 6 months into the fiscal year.
Yep,
Over 6 months in, so we're moving right along. This will be Jim's first budget cycle with us.
he's smiling behind
real
the
budget
mask.
cycle
He's
with
smiling behind
us,
the mask.
so we'll teach him along the way.
Right, yeah. You and John can just, you know, hold hands and go through it together.
I got 2 kiddies.
Yeah, excellent.
Someone if I have to move it.
Okay, great, awesome.
I'll be watching.
I know.
See, it's so good when we can laugh about stuff. I appreciate that. We did receive our building report from Livingston County Building and Safety Engineering Department, who handles that for us. They do a great job. It looks like we're still very busy in the city, even though it's winter time. So it's good to see, you know, work being done. If you ever have any questions regarding that, you can certainly reach out once John gets in place. If you have questions, you can give those questions to him as well. This is our first meeting in January. I don't really feel like we have any committee or subcommittee reports that, unless you guys have NISA or anything that happened since our last council meeting? No? Okay. All right, excellent. All of those board meetings will, you know, kick off again this month. So again, just remember, share what you had happen at your boards as we go through our council meetings. We have another opportunity for audience participation again. Am I gonna get the wave off again? All right, okay. All right, council member comments. I'll go ahead and start down here with Tom.
Nothing from me, thank you.
All right, Chuck? Terry?
No comments.
Noah?
I'm good.
Dan?
I just want to give Chief a shout out. I've had, I don't usually get to drop my kids off at school. They usually ride the bus, but a few different times this year for different reasons, I've had to drop them off. And I always drop them off by Grandma Terry there, and she crosses them. And Chief has just done an amazing job down there this year. And this morning I was dropping off, and Chief was doing an amazing job explaining to a citizen how they're changing the traffic there, and he had taken the time to come across the street and explain what they're doing, and it was a great example of communication and explain something that could be confusing or frustration, but this is why we're doing it, and this is how effective it is. I just thought that was a great example of community policing.
Thanks.
Excellent. I would have to echo that because I've not seen anything on social media
Mhm.
since the start of the school year.
Yeah.
And usually, once September rolls around, it's out there, and it has not been. So kudos to you and everybody and our crossing guards for doing such a great job. Brandon? All right. I just want to welcome you all back. I'm excited to really dive in this year with our new city manager, John Hannafin, when he joins us, and get our goal setting back on our radar for what we want to see the city do over this next year. And just, please pay attention to the weather. It's been changing, daily it seems, so make sure that you observe the cleaning the sidewalks within 24 hours after snowfall. No parking on the city streets from 2 to 5 a.m. And, just continue to enjoy winter. And be well out there, be safe, be healthy. And that's it. I will call this meeting adjourned at 7:30. Not my record.